Okay, so welcome uh, again, Dr. Akintayo Damilola Caleb. You don't end PhD with that
I do.
in South Africa, just 3 years, and it's a good thing. So, for someone who wants to apply to South Africa now, what is the first step you think the person needs to take?
Okay, for someone who wants to apply to South Africa, the first step is answer a few questions. One of which is if it's one who can afford to pay, and someone who demands a scholarship. That's the first step. Are you looking for a school that will give you total fee remission and a bursary? Well, you might say all schools have something to offer, but then what they have to give differ based on the school. So that's the first thing you want to answer. After you've answered that, then we can now go to the general step of getting a potential supervisor. That's very fundamental in South Africa. You need to secure a potential supervisor. And there are two approaches to that. The first is you going to the different websites to search and sending them a mail. I can tell you that's not very effective. It works sometimes, but it's not very effective. The most effective is to be lucky enough to have someone in there. That makes the work very, very, very easy. Take, for instance, when I came in, I'm still very grateful to my friend who is now in the US. His name is Doctor, let me call him Dr. Gideon Tolufashe. The guy is one of a friend that anyone who has him, you are sure that when it comes to scholarship, he can even frustrate you with scholarship. So he took on the challenge to secure a supervisor for me. And we first sent several mails to supervisors. Some will just leave it unanswered, while others will respond saying they don't have funding and all of that. But eventually, a sister, who's also a doctor now, Dr. Esther Ofusori, was the one who recommended me to my supervisor. So I saw the correspondence, she copied me there and spoke to Prof saying, okay, I know this person and I'm sure the person can do well. I haven't attached my transcripts and my certificates in my CV.
So you're saying the first process to secure a supervisor, that's the first process.
First, yes, please.
And then it can be either do it straight yourself or you have someone in there who can speak to another person on your behalf. You can speak to the professor on your behalf. I remember I've even met my friend in South Africa too. What's his name again? I told you I have a friend that went there too, that we are at BMS together.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but I don't know the school I can't remember the school.
I think it's KwaZulu-Natal or something like that.
Okay, UKZN. Yeah, it's my school. Maybe it's in a different campus because here we have about 5 campuses for UKZN. So possibly physics, it could be in PMB while I'm in
chemistry.
Yes.
I mean, no, KwaZulu-Natal or Northeastern, I mean, but whichever way, I think he went through the same process. I think someone had to recommend him to the supervisor too before he started talking. Okay. Yeah. So what happens again? Is it the school that gives the remission, or how does that work?
Yes. So for schools that give remission, not all schools directly give remission. There are some schools that are clear. They specifically give remission. Take, for instance, University of KwaZulu-Natal, here that I am, they give fee remission, and they are clear. Everybody knows that. Another school like that is Durban University of Technology. They also give fee remission, and it's clear. But other schools, their free remission is not, what word am I going to use now? It's not like automatic. Do you understand? It's not just automatic. So with free remission, it's basically the school that gives it. And other times, some supervisors will take it upon themselves to give you a bursary that will cover for your free remission and a little stipend for yourself. But generally, the likes of UKZN and DUT gives free remission. Unlike schools like, for everyone that apply. For research-based postgrad study, research-based, they don't give remission for
Course base.
masters by coursework. Yeah, they don't give that. They don't give that.
So masters by research, PhD, they give remission
By
for
research, they give you fee remission. Yes, yes.
So what fee remission means is just that your tuition is free.
Your tuition is free. That's what fee remission is, and it's for a given time.
For a given time.
That's the standard time they expect you to finish. Take for instance, in UKZN, your free remission would go for the first year for a master's. You are giving free remission for just 1 year, meaning they are expecting you to tidy up in your first year.
First year.
Okay. But for PhD, you get free remission for 3 years. I'm using UKZN as an example now because I can give you something very concrete. But then when it comes to DUT, with my wife now, she's gone the first year, this is her second year, and she also still got free remission. So I'm sure DUT can still offer to give you free remission for masters for 2 years. PhD, I believe they can give you up to 4 years. For UKZN, 1 year for masters, 3 years.
3 years for PhD.
For PhD, yes.
So, what happens? How does, for example, you you receive fee remission? How do you cope with stipend, living expenses, and all those slides?
How did I?
Why did you cope with living expenses, rent, blah blah blah, and your wife?
So so for living expenses, accommodation, and the likes, I'll start with myself as an example and then talk generally. For myself, before coming, my friend who helped me out prepared my mind that, you must have something on you at least. That's one. Because when you come in, I remember I came in, my flight was 31st of January 2018, and I landed 1st of February. So on getting in, I was the one who sorted the accommodation for February, at least I sorted that. Then I applied for demonstration, like a lab demonstrator. So we wrote a skill test and I passed and we were shortlisted. So with that, we're being paid. The amount we got for someone who doesn't want to live life in luxury, you'll be able to get something basic. You can pay your rent and have the most expensive thing here for someone coming over is that accommodation. When you remove accommodation, if you can cook, you won't spend too much, So it will suffice. However, this demonstration slot per semester runs for 3 to 4 months. I mean, the payment, it's sometimes 3 months or it's 4 months. And let's say that will happen twice in a year. So it means you have about 6 to 8 months of you being paid. So those other months, I'm afraid you have to sort yourself, right? You have to either spend the one you've gotten previously, you spread it across the year, or you have a backup. That's for someone
like a job.
Who did not get, a job, maybe from home. But job here, the chances are very, 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 very slim. Now, saying very, 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 very slim is because of the few who are the exceptions to the rule. In short, some persons will literally tell you you won't have any opportunity to get a job, especially if you don't have a permanent residence or critical skill or a work permit. The student permit we get puts a large restriction on us being able to work. Your ability to work is just within the confines of your university that can accommodate you. Or maybe those who are lucky enough to get tutor position in nearby universities. But obviously, those schools will also prefer to give to their students first before they give to someone coming from somewhere. Yes. Yeah. So basically, those are for someone who is relying on fee remission. However, some students get the opportunity to receive bursary from their supervisors. So that's another thing a student must consider when you are seeking for a supervisor. Some of them, who are let me use the word NRF rated, and they have access to funding and can give those funding, because there are some fundings that have restrictions. The country is giving much credence to their citizens. So many fundings, honestly speaking, there are too many fundings available, just that majority of them are focused on citizens. You literally see them begging their citizens to come pick up scholarship offers and bursary. Like they are begging them, extending deadlines over and over again.
Wow.
But you just see the caveats, South African citizens or those who have permanent residence.
Permanent residence, wow.
Yes.
Wow. So let's talk about the NRF funding and how to recognize those who actually have the funding, those professors who actually have the NRF funding and can give out the bursary, because I know that is what, I know my friend applied for that NRF funding. I can't remember if he got it, but I know he's getting a bursary from the school also, from what he explained. So how does that work? The NRF funding, how to get to know that supervisor that has that funding.
Okay, so for NRF funding, there are two ways to it. It's either you apply personally yourself, or you apply personally, I meant to say, or you apply under your supervisor. Take, for instance, your supervisor has gotten a bursary and then fits you under that bursary.
1 minute, brother. Let me get someone. 1 minute.
Okay, sir. So it's either you apply personally or you get that bursary through your supervisor who has already applied. Some supervisors go ahead to apply for bursary and they get it, so they will now advertise. Recently, Stellenbosch advertised for masters and PhD, maybe early February. They will just tell you they have already applied, the topic for the research, everything is available. They just are looking for the best candidate. And then you submit your application and they pick. So the person gets the value of the bursary you will have gotten if you're applying yourself. So for applying yourself, one thing that also counts is you need to get a supervisor who is, it's advisable rather, let me not say you need, it's advisable you get a supervisor that is NRF rated. And this NRF rating varies. I think the list is Y down to maybe C and then B and A. And so those guys who have A are actually those people you can almost be sure that they have a funding from NRF, or they will give them more, should I say, more credit.
Okay.
Because they are renowned researchers in that. So anyone who if you are coming under such kind of person, NRF gives them that respect that no, this is a well-established researcher in this field. So that counts. But most importantly is what is called alignment to national priority. Okay. So NRF has some national priorities. So they expect your research to be aligned to this priority. And there's the website. Maybe I'll send down later. I was hoping I would connect via my laptop, but then the internet is messing up. So I'll send the link, the NRF link. It's available. Once you just type NRF, okay, National Research Foundation, you type that online, it will get you to the link. They give you the percentage for each quota, but one of them that takes a large percentage is that alignment to national priorities, your objective. They look at your literature review. So it's like you are sending them a proposal. So they would go over all those things and see who most are fitting to get this. So basically those who read engineering, those who are doing something around the major problem in South Africa, one of which is tuberculosis, HIV, and I'm sure research around COVID, looking at the season we are things that can easily get funding from NRF. They give more of the funding to science-based students. There's a certain amount to those who are not science-based, right? Again, NRF also gives a large quota to citizens. Again, citizens. And there's another Africans, colored, and different, and they give more credence to ladies. Again, ladies.
Oh,
ladies they get, you can say out of, let's say if 10 people apply, you can be too sure that 6 to 7 will definitely be ladies. So they give credence to ladies. That's even in their, among their citizens and for international students. So this alignment to priority, the objectives, how well you have reviewed literature, and they also put to consideration your experience. I mean, your knowledge in that field. Take, for instance, you read physics and you want to pursue your PhD in physics. You have higher chances than someone who is coming from maybe agric and going into maybe medical field. It's not like you won't get, but these are basic points that someone who is trolling the same path will definitely get. But the most important, like I said, is that alignment to national priority, the objective, and what's it called? How well you have reviewed the literature. But I would definitely send you a document from it. It's available online anyways, where they give you the certain percentage for different levels. Okay, for this is the percentage you get from this. So you need to tailor your work in that area. Yeah.
Okay. So we have established one thing now, that it is, if one gets if you apply to school that gives remission, it's not compulsory that your supervisor have funding, right?
Yes.
But if your supervisor have funding, then it's butter on your bread, because you will have
yes.
more. You won't have to work in the school as a tutor or whatever before you can get your stipend. Okay, so and we have also established how to contact the proposed supervisor. And we said the best method is to have someone on ground who can speak to the supervisor on your behalf. But people can still send mails too. Okay, that question is taken care of. Okay, you just explained how the funding works. So if it happens that one applies to a school that does not give remission and the supervisor does not have funding, what happens?
Or if you apply to a school that doesn't give remission and the supervisor doesn't give funding, you can apply for the school's funding.
Okay.
You can say almost all schools in South Africa would definitely have a funding. If it's not directly from the supervisor, it could be the college, it could be the school, it could be dean's scholarship, or other forms of scholarship. Take, for instance, there's this intra-African mobility scholarship of a thing that comes out, I think comes out in March, April, thereabout. So we should be expecting one anytime soon, that allows you to leave your country to some specific countries in Africa, that allows you, and the funding is a very good one as well. They also give credence to ladies again. They give more attention to ladies for that one. So we can one can get that one from some schools announce it, while you can get that information on some of these scholarship links available. They'll tell you when it's out. So definitely you can apply for schools bursary. But in the advent that you don't have a good what's the word now, academic score, good results, let's put it that way, because you'll be competing with several people also. It's not like for everyone who applies will get it. No. They give credence to those who have gotten good scores. So anyone who doesn't get that can now decide, if you have your money, you can decide to pay.
And like how much are we talking about in terms of payment?
Okay, so it also varies depending on the course. I will talk about those who are lab-based, which is the most expensive. It's on the average, you can be spending per semester, you can be spending close to, I think, 16,000 rands, some 9,000, some 10,000. I think the 9,000 and lower are for the masters. For PhD, maybe around 10,000 upward. I've seen cases of 16,000, 20, but the undergraduate is more expensive. In short, there's one which is the most expensive, honors. You know, in Nigeria, when you finish, you graduate with a BSc honors.
Yeah.
Meaning they have sandwiched what in South Africa here, you do your first degree, let's say science, chemistry, for instance, you do 3 years and you have a BSc. Then you come for 1 year for honors, with which you can then do masters. So that honors of 1 year is very, 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 very expensive.
Wow.
I mean, vary. Maybe going to some 25, 30, 40,000 rands.
So, like how much is 10,000 rands in Naira?
In Naira, currently online, maybe 10,000 is like, is that not, what's that? Maybe 300,000 or 400,000. That's aside your accommodation, other things, but school fees. Yeah, maybe around 300,000 to 5. It depends. 300, 400, about.
That means those who went to private school in Nigeria can easily pay that money, right?
Yes, they can. Those who go to private school can afford to pay it conveniently without. But for those who went to the likes of UI, went to UI, Fair, and all those. No.
You must get something to fund it. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, is there any funding at all for BSc? Any funding at all?
At all. I don't think so. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any funding whatsoever for, except maybe the likes of all these Chevron and all those things, if those ones are available. Yeah. But I mean, within the country for an international student, no.
Okay. So, we have established that it's possible to get some form of funding from the school, irrespective of supervisor. So, one question, can you explain the SACA process? I know there is a SACA process.
Yes. SACA is just the same way when you're going to Canada and the likes, you do WES. So the WES equivalent in South Africa is SACWA, in which case, most recently now, they are taking it very seriously. Before now, some persons were lucky enough to have applied without having SACWA and they scaled through. But recently, after some persons have had to forge and created all manner of atrocities with it, it's even gone so serious that before now, anyone trying to apply now, I can apply on the person's behalf, every person compile the document and submit, but now everyone has to apply by themselves, right? You have to log on to SACWA. You said?
And it must be through that SACA.
Yes. You have to get that done. So for each degree, there's a certain amount of is given in levels. Take for instance, if you did a BSc that is 4 years in Nigeria.
Can we first establish what's the purpose of SACA? Because many people hearing this will not know what it means. Yeah.
Okay, so SACA is South Africa's evaluation scheme to judge from your results what level of education you fit in. So the difference, they give your score based on levels of 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, based on whatever degree you are submitting for evaluation. So for a PhD now, there's a certain level you should have from the SACA results that will define whether you are qualified or not. So take for instance, you're coming from Nigeria and you have a BSc from a course that is for 4 years. It's almost very likely that you are going to get level 7. And if you get a level 7, it means you are not qualified to do a master's directly. You are going to be forced to do honors, in which case it's expensive. So they judge your BSc honors from Nigeria to be equivalent to their BSc, for a 4-year course. But for anybody who studied engineering, pharmacy, medicine, 5 years and above, you will definitely qualify to go for a master's directly. So that person will get a level 8. Yeah, I think that should be level 8. Okay. But there have also been some discrepancy about some schools, especially schools that have the name technology. Take, for instance, someone who finished from Loud Tech, FUTA, and the likes. in most cases, they don't give them the level that qualifies them for a master directly. At least I think I know of one person or two who had fallen victim of that. And that person has to start from honors, even though the person did a 5-year course.
Yeah.
So sometimes those who are evaluating and the score they have given to people in time past determines what they will give to you when you are submitting. I give a personal example now. When I was submitting for my wife then, and we submitted, UI took a while before they responded. So what they did was they picked the transcripts and compared with previous transcripts from UI with that course and the likes. So that's what they will use to judge what level that person will be, because they expect your school, wherever you're coming from, to give an evaluation. So they look at it based on the course you're about to do, what are the subjects expected of you to have done, and all those things will judge whether this person still needs to go and do some more courses in honors to qualify for masters. So we personally advise people coming from Nigeria, just try your best to get your masters in Nigeria and come and do your PhD here. Reason being that if you have done a BSc in Nigeria and you are not very experienced, especially with lab work, it's very, very unlikely to be able to tidy up that master's within 1 year of your fee remission. There are people who do that. Honestly, I think I know of. There's a friend of mine, Joshua. He actually finished his within a year. Reason being that he had done a PhD in UI. So he was experiencing what he was about to do. But I know of some others who took 2 years, some even 3 years on masters, because there are some unforeseen circumstances that might just show up, right? So we advise get your masters from Nigeria, and every Nigerian with that Niger spirit now, let's assume the first year will give you that problem, but after the first year, you will definitely find your feet, and you will find out once you get the key, within 1 year, 2 years, you'll be able to work morning and night and make up for the lost years. And at the third year, you are already done. Some persons finish in 2 years, 2.5 years. So that's the deviation. But SACA, you get your documents. What are the documents that you require? They ask for your transcript. They ask for your certificate. And your transcript now, usually you definitely submit maybe a student copy to them while they are making your application. But they would now communicate with your school to confirm that what you have truly sent is correct. Yeah, so those are basic things. All that you need is also available on the site. In short, because of COVID now, they have provided online assistance because they want you to do it. So you can get all the information you need at every stage. But in the case it becomes confusing, definitely those who have done it before here, if you can contact any one of us here, it becomes easy. We will definitely provide you with the information step by step. One thing I can also add is, whilst they tell you to do it yourself, in the sense that you register on their site and you send your documents, in most cases, it's always very expensive to, when I say very expensive, I'm talking for a Nigerian who obviously needs scholarship because doesn't have money. There are some persons that to send is not a problem. You just send back, and you are good to go. It won't cost you much. But what we normally do is we'll try and locate someone coming into the country around the time you want to make your submission. So you just give the document to the person at the airport.
Person
They bring it.
it.
Yes, and we just use courier to send it to SACWA office. By so doing, maybe with 100 rand, that's like less than 3,000, or let's say 3,000. Your document will get to SACWA office. Okay? But if you have to send it by yourself, maybe through DHL,
All the way from
you might be
Nigeria.
spending some, you might be sending some 20,000 naira, 24,000, 30,000, depending, to send documents like that. Yes. So
at what stage will the person be doing SACA? At what stage of the application?
Okay. Some persons get to do theirs even before getting supervised. So your SACA doesn't expire. So you can do it way before your application, while some others, get instruction from their supervisor to go and do SAQA. Let's take, for instance, you had spoken to a supervisor, a potential supervisor, and has decided to accept you. So in the process of getting the application, right, you will definitely be asked to go and get SAQA. Why it's advisable to do it before you contact your supervisor, especially those who want to do NRF, is that NRF will definitely ask for SAQA. Definitely. And I've seen someone who almost lost NRF scholarship because of SAQA. It was at the season of lockdown where there were limitations on those who were coming in, the number of staffs in the department, so it took them a while to get SAQA fixed. When I did mine, I think my SAQA came out maybe within a month or so. But I've seen someone who did his and it took about 3 months. So what causes this delay? To be honest with you, what causes the delay is actually response from your school in Nigeria. So when you send your document to SAQA, one thing we advise is go and meet your those who are in charge of your transcripts. Go and sit down with them. Sure, I think they have a friend currently now. We need someone who has gone through a whole lot just for school to send. It's so annoying. And if UI is giving this problem, I imagine some persons from some schools where I remember someone from Kogi State University. The guy literally had to go to them and paid for fuel to fill the gen for them to connect to their email in order to be able to respond. It's that bad. And anytime you reach out to SAQA will tell you that they are still expecting feedback from your school.
From your school.
So if you have someone internal there, they can follow up as soon as SAQA sends their email, they confirm, and you can be lucky to get it in 2 weeks or less. It's just that response time. They respond in time, and SAQA will definitely not delay you.
Okay. So SAQA, the evaluation from SAQA is what is part of the things that will be sent to the university when you are applying to the university.
Yes. Once you get the results, they give you your certificate. You get a certificate. It's like a certificate. You get it. So you can then send it to your to school for application alongside other application documents.
Okay. And what's the spelling of SAQA for someone who wants to search online now?
SAQA.
SAQA, SAQA. Okay. Maybe this should be the last question before any other thing you want to add. What of those who are married? And then is there any provision for married folks, like their dependents, family, something like that?
Honestly speaking, most scholarship would not attend to your family.
Not necessarily the money, but like South Africa as itself, for students, international students who have family. Okay, is there a provision, a visa type for them?
Okay, yes. If you're married and you're coming with your wife, okay, I'll talk generally and give an advice. My advice. Generally, so you get your visa first. I mean, you apply for your visa first. You get your visa only. Afterwards, you now apply for dependent visa for your wife. Okay? That's for those who either have gotten enough funding to have their wife come sit down in the house in the morning and prepare a meal for them and they come back. You understand? Because that dependent visa would most definitely not allow your wife to do any form of working. Anything. It's like you are just coming, because most of the motivation behind it is that you need your wife to help you, to just make life easy for you. So just come and make life easy for your husband. That's why you are here. So, but personally, I recommend, if you want your wife to come around, if your wife is academically inclined, come on, get your wife an admission as well. And at the end of your program, she's also living with value. She's adding value to herself. Okay?
All right, continue.
Okay, so I said, when your wife comes with a dependent visa, she will just sit down at home and serve your purpose. That's all. Okay, maybe you have an enterprising wife, good for you. A tailor, what other job can they do? An hairdresser, all these vocational jobs. Okay, you can make some good things out of it, some good things, depending on the person's creativity and communication, right? So when you come around, you ask questions around, they will definitely put you through where you get them. Okay, I have a friend whose wife almost came as a dependent visa, but we were seriously on her neck. And eventually she had to come with a study visa. But then she's studying and she's also doing a tailoring job. Because at the end, she will be able to add value to herself. She will get a PhD. That's for those who are academic. You know, some persons who just feel, hey, I just managed to finish this degree and I don't. Education, no way. You understand? But I can tell you, it's a bit difficult to come around and just sit down at home. It's except if the husband is getting some really, really good funding and getting some job opportunities within their school. Else, would advise just pick up something, provided you are getting, since you are not going to pay fees, it will also expand you and that will even give you access to people. Because if you are dependent visa, you sit down in your house. A dependent visa, you would not gain access to some schools.
Would they come and police them that they must sit in their house?
No, you can go around, but you won't meet people who will give you those opportunities. Like, students, take for instance, you want to sew now. Students, they are the easiest you can meet with because you can't just walk up to someone and say, hey, especially language issues. But in school, you can be sure you will meet the average person who can speak English. And then you can have link. So that's about dependent visa. And so again, I said, apply for yourself first. Don't go apply all of them at once. I've seen people who try that. And even you yourself who is qualified, they will not give you the visa. Right.
That's true.
So you apply for yourself first and then the dependent afterwards. The wife
dependent. Yes. Okay. So any other thing that maybe my question has not covered that you will want to add to the processing, the study, the everything?
Okay, I think the last part will then be about the visa application itself.
Visa application, yeah.
Yeah, so after you have secured admission, you definitely get an admission letter from your school and also get a letter in support of visa from your school. Those two documents your school provide for you. If you are having a bursary, then that will be your source of income. You don't need to be looking for statement of account. I mean, well, when we say bursary now, it has to be some bursary that it's written officially to you, not the one that a supervisor promises you with the mouth. That will not fly anywhere. So if your supervisor promises you, he has to put it into writing. Okay? And usually they will quote from what cost center the bursary will be issued from. Those are things that when you're submitting, they would use for evaluation. If you don't have a bursary and you're hoping to get a demonstration slot or tutor, then you definitely need to get a statement of accounts. Okay, different stories around statement of accounts, but the best bet, if you can, get the statement of accounts, get the money into your own account. That's the easiest. That will save you from accident and pain. Just get your exact name, put all the funds there, and it's just required for that application. It's not, nobody will go about
spending the money.
Yes, you're not spending it. So just get that statement of account, print it, and you add to what are documents they require. Okay, you need yellow fever card. You can get that one in most of the government accredited areas in Nevada. There's one in Nevada. I think I did mine in Nevada. There's one they said in airports in Lagos. Apart from the yellow fever card, you need the statement of account that I said. Statement of account, okay. Some persons have had to work with ₦1 million. Right. I've seen some persons 2 million. Okay, when I did mine, in our own time, it was very fast, very fast. I submitted my visa application on a Friday, and on Monday, I was asked to come and pick my visa up. So it was, let's say, over the weekend.
It takes months now, because I know my friend took some months before they got back.
So in in 2019, it started taking some kind of, the first experience we had was someone getting hers in 3 months. In short, I've seen 6 months, I've seen 1 year. But of late now, we have also seen some persons who got theirs in 1 month, under 2 months. So sometimes it varies, especially whoever is adjudicating the document that you are submitting also determines how fast it's going to take. Okay. What other documents needed? Okay, you need insurance, health insurance. You have to pay that one yourself. It's even, okay, maybe some supervisors might pay for you. I think I've seen someone whose supervisor paid, but in most cases, they will pay you back.
Okay.
They will pay you back. So you get, international students use 2 major insurance providers, that's Momentum and Comcare. Momentum seems to be the most popular. Healthcare, the amount increases every year, every other year, by not 2%. Yeah. When I first came, I think I paid almost 5,000 or so. But the last one I paid now is almost 6,000. So the amount increases every year. And to apply for visa,
6,000 in what currency?
Rands. Oh, in rands. Okay. Now it's about 6,000 rand. That's like almost 180 or less thousand in naira. Also, you will need a proof of accommodation. So 2 ways. 2 ways to go, no, 3 ways to go about it. One, you get an official letter from the school stating that you would be staying in a private accommodation. That's about the best. That won't give you any problem because it will come with the university's letter-headed paper. Okay. But I think of late, obviously, some people have bastardized the opportunities, becoming very difficult to get it done. So the next option is to get someone you know here who would get you a letter from a landlord, or the person himself can write saying you will stay with him or her. Especially those who have accommodation and their landlord are understanding. Okay, they will write and tell you. The last option is hotel. You book a hotel reservation and then that would fly. But I've also seen some instances where on getting to, okay, they have now issued you the visa, you now want to enter, they confirm where are you going to stay, and you show them that hotel reservation. I've heard of a case, I didn't see it, I heard. They called the hotel and you don't have a reservation, and the person was deported. So that's why we said the best bet is just to secure that letter from school, or you go for a letter from the landlord, because the person will put his phone number there and they can always contact, and the person can say, okay, yours truly, this person will come around here to stay. Okay, I've talked about insurance. Then what other thing am I missing? Okay, medical checkup, definitely. You do radiology tests, you do that general medical test. What other thing? Okay, you book tickets. Okay, that one is just a reservation. That one is now doesn't have any problem. Just ensure you book a return ticket. Just reserve a return ticket rather. Yeah, these ones are simple, very simple. Just
so those ones are towards the end of the process, the last stage.
Yes, last stage that you need to just put together. Then on the application site, there are some documents you definitely need to fill, application form. So they will give you a checklist. So you see all the things that you need to get, your passport, the dimension required, and all those things. They are readily available online. Just go to DHA, www.dha.gov. So once you type Department of Home Affairs, it will get you there, definitely. It's easy and straightforward. I think those are the basic things around visa. It's not something very difficult if you have the right documents. Don't forge any documents. Don't try it. If you try it and you are caught, it will put a ban on your document and all of that. Just try, ask questions. There are always ways to get some of these things that seems difficult. The appropriate way of getting those things, you get them and you're fine. You won't have any cause to fret. The last point on this is, it's possible you put all of the right documents and they still reject you. It's happened. It's not once. They can reject you. And what do you do? 2 stories around it. Some persons advise, don't, appeal. Because we have had more experience of those who appealed and never got a feedback than the very few who appealed and got the feedback. So generally, people advise, just pack your things and reapply. JJ. Because if
that's
you,
for the visa.
Yes, for the visa, if you are rejected, but I've seen someone, at least I've seen someone who was rejected and was asked to appeal within 2 weeks and appealed and got it back. But most people, in short, they might not even treat that file again for a long while. You have to start calling, following up, and eventually they might still reject.
So it's just
sometimes they give some
reapply.
annoying, yes, they give some annoying reason. You put your statement of account of 2 million and tell you insufficient fund. Like, really? So there are some but just put your documents together again and reapply. It's that one you are sure that most likely you'll get again.
Okay, good. Thank you so. I think this information is enough for someone who wants to consider South Africa. It's more than enough. It's more than enough.
Thank you, sir.
So once again, congratulations on that doctorate. We are not in Nigeria now, and we would have come to it. If now you are now, we go chop rice now. As in, but we go still chop somehow. I don't know how you want to do. I don't know how you want to take
that. No problem, sir.
We go still chop. Congratulations. Sure. I know you are missing your wife, Sha.
I've been.
I know. Oh yeah, I understand.
It's well.
I understand. No, thanks so much.
Okay, sir.
May I start recording?